Hello, welcome to Capital Sensei. Today, we're diving deep into a book that has genuinely changed the financial lives of millions. Ramit Sethi's I Will Teach You to Be Rich. We're going to break down his entire 6-week program, covering everything from optimizing your credit cards and bank accounts to building a completely automated, hands-off investment system. We'll explore his philosophy of conscious spending, which is all about spending extravagantly on the things you love while cutting costs mercilessly on the things you don't. Whenever we can, we try to answer questions that pop up in the comments section. Financial journeys are personal, and the details matter. So please, feel free to share your thoughts, your questions, and even your own stories down below. Your experience might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear, and together we can build a really supportive community. Let's start with the foundational idea of the book, because it turns conventional financial advice on its head. Most money gurus tell you to be frugal. They tell you to track every single penny, to feel guilty about buying a $5 coffee, and to cut back on everything. Ramit says this is a recipe for failure. Why? Because it's miserable, and humans are not built to sustain misery for long. Willpower is a finite resource, and basing your entire financial plan on it is like trying to hold your breath for an hour. You just can't do it. Instead, he introduces the concept of conscious spending. This means you decide upfront what you absolutely love spending money on. Is it traveling? High-end restaurants? Maybe it's buying the latest tech gadgets? Or having a beautiful wardrobe? Whatever it is, you identify it and give yourself permission to spend extravagantly on it, completely guilt-free. The trade-off is that you have to be ruthless in cutting costs on the things you don't care about. Think about it. Maybe you don't really care about having 200 cable channels when you only watch 3 of them. So you cut cable and save $150 a month. Perhaps you're indifferent to driving a brand new car, so you buy a reliable used one and save thousands. That money you save isn't for hoarding. It's fuel. It's the fuel for your guilt-free spending and, more importantly, for building your long-term wealth. This philosophy is empowering because it puts you in the driver's seat. You're not a victim of your budget. You are the architect of your rich life. And a rich life is different for everyone. For one person, it's flying first class. For another, it's the ability to take a year off to write a novel. The first step in this whole process is to define what your personal rich life looks like. Get specific, write it down. This vision will be your North Star through the entire process. Now, let's get into the tactical side, starting with week 1 of Ramit's program. Optimizing your credit cards. Many people see credit cards as evil, a one-way ticket to debt. And they can be if misused. But from an economist's perspective, a credit card is simply a tool. It's a financial instrument. A hammer can build a house or it can smash your thumb. It all depends on the user. The key is to make credit cards work for you, not against you. This means 2 things. First, you must, without exception, pay your bill in full every single month. If you carry a balance, the interest you pay, often at rates of 20% or more, will wipe out any rewards or benefits you could possibly earn. It's a mathematical certainty. Paying interest is like setting a pile of your money on fire every 30 days. Second, you need to choose the right cards. Ramit encourages you to look for cards with great rewards programs that align with your spending. If you spend a lot on groceries and gas, get a card that gives you 5% cash back on those categories. If you defined your rich life as traveling, then an airline or hotel rewards card is a no-brainer. These rewards are essentially free money. It's a discount on your life that you get just for using the right piece of plastic. Don't forget to check for sign-up bonuses, which can often be worth hundreds of dollars. And what about your credit score? This 3-digit number is like your financial report card. A good score tells lenders you're reliable, and it unlocks better interest rates on everything from mortgages to car loans. A great score can save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. The biggest factor in your score is your payment history. That's why paying your bill on time, every time, is non-negotiable. Another big factor is your credit utilization ratio, which is just a fancy way of saying how much of your available credit you're using. You want to keep this number low, ideally below 30%. Week 2 is all about your bank accounts. This might sound boring, but getting this right is like plugging leaks in a bucket. Many people keep their life savings in a checking or savings account at a big traditional bank. The problem? These accounts often pay a pitifully low interest rate, something like 0.01%. At that rate, your money is actually losing value every single day due to inflation. Think of inflation as a slow, silent tax on your cash. If inflation is at 3% and your bank is paying you 0.01%, you are effectively losing 2.99% of your purchasing power every year. It's a guaranteed loss. The solution is to move your savings to a high-yield savings account, usually found at online-only banks. Because these banks don't have the overhead of physical branches, they can pass those savings on to you in the form of much higher interest rates. We're talking the difference between earning pennies a year and earning hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on your balance. It's the same money, just sitting in a different, smarter place. It's just as safe, as these accounts are typically FDIC insured up to $250,000, just like the big banks. You also need to open a checking account that has no fees and no minimum balance requirements. Bank fees are a pointless drain on your wealth. They are a penalty for being a customer. There's absolutely no reason to pay them in today's market. So now you have the right tools: a rewards credit card and fee-free, high-yield bank accounts. Week 3 of the program is about opening your investment accounts. I know, this is where some people start to get nervous. Investing can feel complex and risky, like a casino where only the pros win. But this is a misconception. Modern investing, done correctly, is not about gambling or trying to outsmart Wall Street. Ramit recommends a simple, effective approach for the vast majority of people: investing in low-cost index funds or target date funds. Let's break that down. Imagine you want to invest in the stock market. You could try to pick individual stocks like Apple or Amazon, but this is incredibly difficult. It requires a huge amount of research, and even professional fund managers fail to beat the market average over the long term. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. An index fund, on the other hand, doesn't try to find the needle. It just buys the entire haystack. For example, an S&P 500 index fund buys a tiny slice of the 500 largest companies in the United States. When you invest in that fund, you instantly own a diversified portfolio of America's top businesses. You're no longer betting on one company. You're betting on the overall growth of the U.S. economy, which has a very strong historical track record. The other option is a target date fund. This is even simpler. It's a fund of funds that is automatically managed for you based on your expected retirement year. For example, if you plan to retire around the year 2055, you would buy a target date 2055 fund. When you're young, the fund will be aggressive, holding mostly stocks for maximum growth. As you get closer to 2055, it will automatically and gradually shift to be more conservative, holding more bonds to protect your capital. It's a true set it and forget it solution. Where do you open these accounts? You'll need a brokerage account. Ramit suggests low-cost providers like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. You can also open retirement-specific accounts like a Roth IRA or a 401k. A 401k is an employer-sponsored plan, and if your company offers a match, you must contribute enough to get the full amount. A company match is literally free money. If your company matches 100% of your contributions up to 5% of your salary, and you don't contribute that 5%, you are turning down a 5% raise. It's one of the best guaranteed returns in all of finance. A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account that you open on your own. You contribute with after-tax dollars, meaning you don't get a tax deduction now. But here's the magic. All of the money grows completely tax-free, and when you withdraw it in retirement, you pay zero taxes. Absolutely nothing. Over decades of compound growth, the amount of money you save in taxes can be astronomical. Now we arrive at week 4, the absolute core of the system, your conscious spending plan. This is not a budget. Budgets are restrictive and tedious. A conscious spending plan is forward-looking and designed for automation. It breaks down your take-home pay into 4 simple categories. First, you have fixed costs. This should be around 50 to 60% of your monthly take-home pay. This category includes all the essentials you have to pay every month: rent or mortgage, utilities, car payments, insurance, and student loans. These are the non-negotiables. Second, you have investments. Ramit recommends putting 10% of your take-home pay towards your investments. This is your wealth-building engine. This is the money that will go into your Roth IRA or your brokerage account, buying those index funds and working for you around the clock. Third, you have savings. This should be about 5 to 10% of your take-home pay. This is not for long-term investing. This is for short-term and medium-term goals. Think of things like a down payment on a house, a wedding, a big vacation, or an emergency fund. You can create separate, named savings accounts for each goal, like Hawaii trip or new car fund. This makes your goals tangible and motivating. And finally, my favorite category, guilt-free spending money. This is the remaining 20 to 35% of your income. This is your money to spend on whatever you want without a shred of guilt or the need to track it. Want to spend it all on lattes? Go ahead. Want to buy a new pair of shoes? Do it. Blow it all on a fancy dinner? Enjoy. As long as your other 3 categories are funded, this money is yours to enjoy however you see fit. This is the psychological genius of the system. It builds in fun and removes the pain of traditional budgeting. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually make it happen every month without tearing your hair out? This brings us to week 5, automation. This is where you transform your conscious spending plan from a nice idea into an effortless reality. The goal is to build a system where your money automatically flows to the right places without you having to think about it. Here's how it works. You set up a series of automatic transfers that trigger right after you get paid. Think of it like a waterfall. Your paycheck is the water at the top. The first cascade directs money to your 401k, which happens before you even see the money in your bank account. What's left? Your take-home pay lands in your checking account. From your checking account, you have automatic transfers set up. On the first of the month, 10% of your take-home pay is automatically sent to your Roth IRA or brokerage account. Another 10% is automatically sent to your high-yield savings account for your various savings goals. The money left in your checking account is for your fixed costs, your rent, your bills, which you should also set up on auto pay whenever possible. Whatever is left over after all these automated transfers and bill payments is your guilt-free spending money. You can spend it directly from your checking account or even transfer it to a separate fun money account. The point is, the important stuff, saving and investing, happens first, automatically. You pay yourself first. You build wealth on autopilot. You've removed willpower and human error from the equation. Your financial system now runs itself, leaving you free to live your life. This automation is incredibly powerful for a couple of reasons, rooted in behavioral economics. First, it overcomes inertia. We tend to stick with the default option. By making saving and investing the default, you're far more likely to do it consistently. Second, it makes the process invisible. When the money is whisked away before you really have a chance to miss it, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. This is a concept known as paying yourself first, and it's one of the cornerstones of building wealth. Finally, we reach week 6, which is all about maintenance and optimization. Ramit calls this getting the big wins right. He argues that people spend way too much time obsessing over small decisions, like whether to buy a $3 coffee, while ignoring the huge decisions that truly move the needle. These big wins are things like negotiating your salary, finding a higher-paying job, or starting a side business. Think about it this way. You could save $3 a day by skipping your latte. That's about $1,000 a year. Or you could spend a few weeks preparing to negotiate your salary and earn a $5,000 raise. That one-time effort pays you back year after year. The leverage is immense. Ramit provides detailed scripts and strategies for salary negotiation, which is a skill that can literally be worth millions of dollars over a career. Another big win is systematically lowering your recurring bills. Once a year, you should call your service providers, your cable company, your cell phone provider, your car insurance company, and ask for a better rate. You can mention competitor offers or simply ask, "What can you do to lower my bill? I've been a loyal customer for 5 years." You'd be shocked at how often this works. A 10-minute phone call could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Investing is not a one-and-done activity, but the maintenance is minimal. Once a year, you should rebalance your portfolio. This just means making sure your asset allocation, the mix of stocks and bonds you hold, is still in line with your goals. If stocks had a great year, they might now represent a larger percentage of your portfolio than you intended. Rebalancing simply means selling some of the winners and buying more of the underperformers to get back to your target allocation. Many target date funds do this for you automatically. Let's talk more about the long-term investing strategy, because this is where true wealth is built. The power of compound interest is the most critical concept to understand. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the 8th wonder of the world. How incredibilizing, I think. Your financials are powerful and productive. We can do it. It's the process of your earnings generating their own earnings. It's a snowball effect. Let's use an example. Imagine you invest $100 and it earns a 10% return in the first year. You now have $110. The next year, you don't just earn 10% on your original $100. You earn 10% on the full $110, so you earn $11. Now you have $121. The next year, you earn $12.10. It might seem slow at first, but over decades, the growth becomes explosive. This is why starting early is so critical. The more time your money has to compound, the less you have to contribute out of your own pocket. Someone who starts investing $500 a month at age 25 will likely end up with far more money by age 65 than someone who starts investing $1,000 a month at age 35, assuming the same returns. The first person's money simply had an extra decade to work its magic. People often get scared of market downturns. They see the stock market fall by 20% and they panic and sell everything. This is the single biggest mistake an investor can make. Selling in a panic locks in your losses. You've turned a temporary paper loss into a permanent, real one. Successful long-term investors understand that market downturns are a normal, cyclical part of investing. In fact, from a long-term perspective, a market crash is a fire sale. It's an opportunity to buy assets, those same great index funds, at a discount. If you have an automated system, you'll continue to buy every month, regardless of what the market is doing. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging. When the market is down, your fixed dollar amount buys more shares. When the market is up, it buys fewer shares. Over time, this smooths out your purchase price and can lead to better returns. The key is to have the discipline to stick with the plan. Another psychological trap is trying to time the market. People think they can cleverly sell at the top and buy back in at the bottom. The data is overwhelmingly clear. This is a fool's errand. Nobody can consistently predict short-term market movements. To time the market correctly, you have to be right twice. You have to know when to sell and when to get back in. Missing just a few of the best days in the market can devastate your long-term returns. The far superior strategy is time in the market, not timing the market. Just stay invested. Ramit also touches on more advanced topics for once you've mastered the basics. He discusses things like planning for major life events, like buying a house. He doesn't just say, save for a down payment. He forces you to ask the hard questions. What are the hidden costs of home ownership, like property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs? Does buying a home actually align with the rich life you've defined for yourself? For some, the flexibility of renting is more valuable. He applies the same big wins framework to your career. It's not just about negotiating your current salary. It's about developing valuable skills, building a professional network, and positioning yourself for higher-paying roles or industries. Your ability to earn an income is your single greatest financial asset, and investing in that asset can have a far greater return than any stock pick. Let's recap the entire system to see how it all fits together. First, you define your rich life. This is your personal, emotional motivation. Second, you set up the right tools. Rewards credit cards you pay in full, and no-fee, high-yield bank accounts. Third, you open low-cost investment accounts like a Roth IRA and a 401k. Fourth, you create your conscious spending plan with its 4 buckets: fixed costs, investments, savings, and guilt-free spending. Fifth, and most critically, you automate the entire plan. Your savings and investments are funded automatically the moment you get paid. Your bills are paid automatically. What's left is for you to spend, guilt-free. Finally, you focus your ongoing effort not on scrimping and saving pennies, but on the big wins, negotiating your salary, advancing your career, and occasionally optimizing your recurring bills. This system is powerful because it works with human nature, not against it. It acknowledges that we aren't robots. We want to enjoy our money. By automating the good financial habits, it frees up our limited willpower and mental energy for the things that matter, both in our finances and in our lives. It's a front-loaded system. You do the work over a 6-week period to set it all up, and then it largely runs on its own for years, quietly building your wealth in the background. The final message of the book is one of abundance and control. It's a rejection of the fear-based scarcity mindset that permeates so much of personal finance. You don't have to be a financial genius or get lucky picking stocks to become wealthy. You just need to get the basics right, automate the process, and then get on with living your life. Being rich isn't just about having a certain number in your bank account. It's about having the freedom to live life on your own terms. It's about consciously designing a life you love and then building the financial engine to power it.